All right, everybody, welcome to a rebound and Bitcoin surge edition of Teaching Crypto. Please hit that like, smash that subscribe button. The super chats and store are open. Here we go, Mr. FOMO. After a bit of a delay, we're finally back on. And Bitcoin, as we predicted, has recovered. And so we're going to talk today about why Bitcoin is going to soar over the next couple months, and the bull run is definitely back on. But here you see, Mr. FOMO, we're making a run here, not only above 63. I feel like this week 65 is definitely in play. And it wasn't that long ago we were talking about 53, 54K. And here we go. We told people to be patient, and a lot has happened, and we'll talk about that in the world here. And you see Bitcoin is doing quite well. You guaranteed Bitcoin was going to get to 70K, worst case in August, or you were going to shave your hair. I said 80K by the end of September, early October. I was going to shave my hair if Bitcoin doesn't hit 80K in October. And it looks like we won't be shaving our heads anytime soon because Bitcoin's looking strong.
Yeah, and this was not surprising. It's something that you and I had both talked about in other episodes. You had talked about how you thought it was going to be mid-month that Bitcoin would make a turnaround, and I thought it would be more end of the month towards the Bitcoin conference. But either way, it looks like your prediction is coming true, and Bitcoin has made a turnaround here mid-month. And so I am looking forward to seeing it regaining 70 at some point this month. And I'm actually looking forward to some fireworks as we get closer to the end of the month. I like to see the rebound, but I'd also like to see us regain some of that explosiveness that makes us also excited about Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. We've talked about this, and we have a Bitcoin conference coming up July 24th. Now, everyone knows what happened Saturday, and we're not here to do a show about that. However, so just we know this is who is headlining Bitcoin. There you go. This is who's headlining. And you see some other speakers. Yes, RFK, Cathie Wood's going to be there. Of course, Michael Saylor is going to go there. But here's the thing. You need to understand this. Let's get real. There are going to be a lot of eyes on this speech, a lot of eyes on this conference by people that normally would not pay attention. And what you're going to see is as we get closer to July 24th, if it's July 15th right now, 9 days, which in crypto is like an eternity. That's like 9 months in crypto. 9 days is like 9 months. You're going to see, in my opinion, quite a surge. Now, some people are going to get liquidated because it's not going straight to 70. Okay. Yeah, we'll mention Voyager. I'm a bit frustrated with Voyager, and I'll explain why a little bit later. We'll talk about Voyager. We'll put that in at the end here for you guys waiting for Voyager. But here's the thing. Jason, don't say that, and I'll explain why. Okay, Bobby Digital is mentioning that Vance is into crypto and Bitcoin. I'll have to look at that. I'm from Ohio myself, but I don't know enough to comment that yet. But here's the thing. Trump once mentioned, and we didn't really talk about this because I think he wasn't serious about Bitcoin becoming part of the U.S. reserve for the dollar. Now,
Strategic reserve, yeah.
Yeah, even if he's BSing, which he probably is at this point, just saying, but if he says that at the conference, that is gigantic for the rest of the bull run. Because remember, the election's not until November. So I do believe this is going to be a historic day for Bitcoin because you're going to have a lot of national media attention, eyes on this event, right? It is after the convention. Would have been perfect if this was happening before the convention. But you're still going to see a lot of media, and it's going to be a big deal. And I think Trump obviously is going to want to be noticed. He's going to say some big things. And so does he repeat what he said a few months ago about Bitcoin? And if he does, what does that mean for the price? Well, you probably can figure that out because let's keep it real here. He is the favorite to win by a large margin. in November. You look at the betting odds, you look at the Electoral College, he is the favorite. And so whenever the soon-to-be president of the United States, something big on Bitcoin, and today's not about how we feel about anything political, we're just letting you know that this should coincide with a rise that we've predicted for this bull run.
Yeah, and I predict that he will say something. I predict that he'll say that he's going to use it as a strategic backing for the U.S. dollar. I predict that he'll say that the U.S. is going to start buying Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin. I predict that he's going to say a lot of explosive things, and that's why I think the end of this month is going to be where the action is for Bitcoin's price. And so I really, honestly, truly think that this is where it kicks off. Like, Bitcoin was waiting for one of those big events to happen, and the presumptive, I mean, the odds-on favorite to win the presidency is going to show up at the conference, and he's going to say some big things. I mean, look at how big they made his portrait on there compared to everyone else. They're fully expecting him to say some big things at this conference. I'm fully expecting him to say some big things at this conference. And I don't think that he would be courting the what I forget what the number was, something like 500,000 or 5 million or I forget what the voting block of people who are hardcore crypto voters.
It's in the millions, they say. It's hard to know for sure because.
And so let's say it's 50 million people. He's going to look to gain those 50 million people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what better way to do that than to say what everybody wants to hear about Bitcoin? And I really, honestly, I truly believe that this is going to be the catalyst for something big in this bull run.
Now, how did Bitcoin get from 53 to 63 so quickly? And how did it get from below 60 to 63 today? Well, if you missed this is gigantic. Here's the thing. Larry Fink has kind of been dancing around Bitcoin. He's been getting it, and he's been a believer, but he's been careful of what he said in public. Well, not today. He says it is going to be a major factor in the financial future of the globe. We don't need to give you a history of what Blackrock is. This is huge. And we're not going to play this video for you because we would get copyrighted. But he goes into full detail about why he thinks Bitcoin is here to stay. Blackrock has trillions and trillions of assets. Okay? This is big, Mr. Phone.
And so who is this guy to BlackRock, right? Who is he? Is he the CEO?
Of course.
So you've got the CEO of BlackRock saying that it's going to be a major player. That's not going to be accidental. He's saying that because he anticipates manipulating that market. He anticipates getting involved in that and making sure that that happens. And so when you hear a major market manipulator or market maker, as they call themselves, like BlackRock, saying something like that, the CEO especially, you got to think big things are coming.
Now, I showed my wife this text, Mr. FOMO, and she's like, over the weekend, Fidelity made a prediction. Now, it wasn't the entire Fidelity, but it was a senior executive Fidelity. 1.3 billion Bitcoin in 14 years, Mr. FOMO. Let me repeat that. 1.3 billion. Now, is it going to be 1.3 billion? Most likely not. But some of you keep telling me that we're never going to see Bitcoin at 1 million, right? And Mr. FOMO, when we first got into this, when I used to use the M word, you used to laugh at me. You don't laugh anymore because I can tell you 1 million, the way the national debt is going, not only in the US, but other countries as well, 1 million is just not that unheard of for Bitcoin. And it's going to take some time. But it's there. Go ahead. And we're getting some questions about.
We're getting some questions.
So we'll address this after the BlackRock. We're going to address. I have some things to say about. We all want to talk about ETH as well, but we'll get into the Voyager things because I am a bit frustrated, and I'll explain why. But I want to caution you guys that are saying Someone in the comments said he doesn't think it's going to happen in August anymore. I do believe it's August, and I'm going to explain why, because we were given some type of a timeline. Both of us were when he responded to you, and we'll talk about that. But go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I was mixed up in those comments, and I just wanted to get to the Voyager stuff. And to be honest with you, that's all that we've heard from Paul, is that the payouts will come either in this month or in August. And so my hope is that they stick to that. Haven't heard anything back recently. I would expect
Radio
that
silent,
they would.
actually. Radio
I
silent.
would expect that if there was some sort of major development, that they would post on the website, but or at least send out an email to all those concerned parties. But I haven't seen anything, so I'll have to check back.
Remember, just less than 2 weeks ago, they had you check your email on the site to make sure it was accurate, and your address,
Your address,
physical
yes.
address, yes, and to make sure that all was clear. So I think they're close. He's very deliberate, so I'm gonna. He didn't promise. It's not like it's like written in stone, but he did say it was coming this summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what I expect, guys, is before August 1st, we will get an email with an actual date we're going to start the distributions. It doesn't mean everyone's going to get the check on the same day, but it'll be a day where they'll start pushing out the distributions. And I still maintain it's going to happen in August, so don't freak out. If you are expecting this to happen before August, we told you about a week ago, it's probably not. Guys, listen. By the time we get our checks, Bitcoin is going to be way above 70K. We're not getting it before July 24th. That's the reality. We're not getting them most likely before August 1st. I think sometime in August, most likely. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe an email comes in tonight. Who knows? And says, hey, we've got the dates. July 27th is the date where first people are going to first start getting their checks. I just don't expect it right now, guys. I think August is good. I think, remember, too, they were trying to claw back some customers. So, unfortunately, you know how they operate. They can only do one thing at a time. So that may have delayed all this. I don't know. I don't know if they got the money in FTX right away. As far as I know, and you know, the plan is still August. We'll see.
Yes.
We'll see.
And let's Paul has surprised us before when we've been negative about what they were about to do on the last distribution.
Yeah.
That came out actually a lot quicker than we thought. And so we were a little bit negative about the first distribution, and he beat us to the punch, and they got those distributions.
Well, after months of delay, remember that.
After months of delay, but we were being negative about when we thought they would finally get out, and it happened pretty quickly after we were negative. And so he has a tendency to surprise us when it comes to that, especially when we all start getting down on him and the distribution process. And so if you're displeased, his information is in the description below. So if you'd like, you can email him yourselves. But as far as we know, August is our deadline, or August is when it's going to come out. And so what I'm looking for and what I'm hoping for is that some of the altcoins are still waiting to run in August when we get those distributions. And so I'm looking to make more money off the altcoins once I get that money back, or at least use that money more towards altcoins, or at least I'm hoping to use that money more towards altcoins once we get it. But like you said, Bitcoin is going to be moving by then, especially after this conference. And so I don't anticipate seeing it below 70 by the time we get those checks. And I know that's kind of a negative statement, but that's what I think is going to happen.
By the way, guys, in the past week, Carrot's up 17%. I'm just saying, we'll do our part. We keep pushing back the portfolio show. We got to do that this week, Mr. FOMO. But right now, Carrot, one of my big time favorites in the gaming industry, is still, you can pick it up right now at 63 million. Better to have picked it up, when it was at 44 cents versus 61. So I think, by the way, we're not getting that $50 to $55 Litecoin. I'm just going to stick that out there. Hey, Mr. Slim is watching. It's too late.
Well, and we talked about Muse on the last one. Muse, remember, we picked it up at $8.82. We saw it last time at around $9. It's well above $11 now. And I still haven't taken profits on that one. I still anticipate Muse going a lot higher than that. And so I'm waiting to take profits on that trade.
By the way, right as we got on the air, guess what hit? ETH ETFs to launch. I mean, it's like the train is coming, and this is your chance to jump on board. Now, some of us have had our bags packed for a while, and we packed our bags actually too early. And so finally we're able to get on this trip. Okay. But here we go. Okay. Bags are packed, and I'm targeting MrFOMO. Maybe you think I'm crazy. I'm targeting a August 1st 4K ETH here, and a 5K ETH by the beginning of football season. That's where my head is. I've always talked about that ETH's going to push 10K during this during this bull run, and I've got my eyes set on big time ETH move coming up here.
Yeah, I think ETH is going to be explosive here, but I think this is also going to push Bitcoin as well. We've talked about it before. The last ETF, the Bitcoin ETF, pushed Bitcoin and most of the alts pretty high. And so I think this is going to have the same effect. I don't know if it's going to be as big, certainly not for Bitcoin as big, but I think for ETH, this is going to be an explosive event. And so I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see that it's going to launch on Tuesday, tomorrow. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, this is huge. We're going to keep you guys updated this week. We're back doing regular shows. We've just been traveling a lot this summer. Families come up, but you guys supporting us means the world to us. So please, please hit that like. If you haven't subscribed or shared the show and gotten to subscribe, please help us out. We truly greatly appreciate it. And we're going to help you guys hopefully build some wealth in the next few months. Please, please take a look at iOS Network. Before I leave you, I just want to say this because I think this is going to pop over the next 7 to 14 days. iOS Network, I've talked about a lot. AIOZ Network. Right now, we have a market cap of 536 million. This thing will be over $1 billion before the fall, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so great. We have
a great question from Kodiak. After the assassination attempt, do you guys fear any other big events like shutting down power grids, etc., that could impact the markets?
You never know. We talked about, go ahead.
It certainly exposed some vulnerabilities. We won't get too far into that as the investigation is ongoing, but it certainly exposed some vulnerabilities, and power grids are certainly one of those vulnerabilities that we've seen in the past that have been exposed. And so, those kinds of events are,
and the reality is the alts for a while, if that did happen, let's hope it doesn't, would get decimated. Let's keep it 100%. We've already talked. So if you have an alt and the nation loses power for 48 hours, yeah, your altcoin's going to get when you finally regain your power. If you don't have phone service, your altcoin's going to be demolished. Absolutely. But here's the thing: there might be a Bitcoin dump, but it'll recover. So whoever does have power that has the ability to buy that dip would be pretty lucky. But yeah, world events. Listen, the stuff that's happening overseas is not over. So be careful. In fact, I strongly still believe after this bull run is over, we're going to see a pretty nasty bear market. I don't have time to get into it now, but I do think the cycles are not over. There will be another bear market. Your new best friend, Blackrock, will dump some Bitcoin. And because guess what? They didn't get enough during the last bear market. They got some, but not enough. And they now have 3.5 months to accumulate. But guess what? They're going to accumulate more because Bitcoin is just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe we never see the $1 billion Bitcoin, but we will see at least $1 million Bitcoin. And I don't think it's 20 years in the future. I really do not. And so hopefully, I can't wait to do with you, MrFOMO, the 100K Bitcoin episode. I think that's going to happen before Halloween. But hopefully, we find a way to keep this show going so we can do the $1 million Bitcoin show in 4 to 8 years, because I think that is coming as well. Again,
and the $1 billion one in 14 years, right?
The what? 10 million?
And the $1 billion one in 14
billion
years.
$1 billion one. I mean, we might actually be able to advertise and get, more viewers. But guys, help us out if you can. We truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we will see you guys soon. Hit that subscribe button later.
See ya.